Good morning, friends. Today we are going to learn BA second semester third module first part B part 1 A Real Good Smile, a short story by Bill Norton. A Real Good Smile. See, if you think what is the meaning of real good smile, it must be natural and it must be as per the reality, truthfulness in our nature. See, introduction to the author. William John Francis Nocturne or Bill Nocturne, 1910 to 1992, his lifespan, was an Irish-born British playwright and author. Born into relative poverty, he moved to Bolton, Lancashire, England in 1914 as a child. Then he attended St. Peter and Paul's School. Later, he worked as a weaver, coal bagger, and lorry driver before he started writing. Nocturne became a prolific writer of plays, novels, short stories, and children's books. His preferred subject matter was working class society, means common people, which is reflected in much of his literature. Among his plays, his best remembered for Alfie. His works also include the novel One Small Boy, 1957, and a collection of short stories, The Goalkeeper's Revenge, and other stories, published in 1961. His 1977 children's novel, My Pal Spadger, is an account of his childhood in 1920s Bolton. During his lifetime, he received many awards such as Screenwriters Guild Award in 1967, Italia Prize for Radio Play in 1974, Children's Rights Workshop Other Award in 1978, and Portico Literary Prize in 1987. Nocturne died in 1992, aged 81, in Balasala on the Isle of Man. See, this is the short biographical details of author Bill Nocturne. About the story, see, this is the short gist which is written in your textbook. That is, the short story A Real Good Smile tells the story of a 14-year-old boy called Billy and his attempts to get a job in a locomotive shed. It tells a lot about nonverbal communication skills required at the time of getting a job and also at the workplace. It is said that most of the communication takes place through nonverbal communication. The story also underlines the importance and role of smile in human communication. See, here nonverbal communication again includes soft skills. How you use soft skills and nonverbal communication for the communication or make relationships or present yourself. See, what is the short summary of this particular text? The narrator in the story is 14 years old boy named Billy. He left the school at the age of 14. Leaving the school was a painful feeling for him. After he tries to find a job in his own, He wants a job in a mill like the boy in his age. But his parents are different. His parent wants him to work in locomotive shed. His parent said to him that work in locomotives shed was a bit better job. He could start from dirt wiper, then a greaser, promoted to a fireman, by luck even can become an engine driver up to the age of 50. But being a royal job considered in those days, it is so difficult to get there. However, they don't have influence there. Alf Agar was his neighbor. He worked on the railway lines. He knew Tom Petty, who knew well Mr. Bidwell. Mr. Bidwell was boss in locomotives shed. Alf Agar fixed up and told that Mr. Bidwell was a disciplined man. Alf Agar taught Billy how to act in front of Mr. Bidwell. Alf told him about what Mr. Bidwell's likes and dislikes. Every day, Billy learned about its. He learned on everywhere. Alf told that Mr. Bidwell likes a lad who asks for himself. Mr. Bidwell likes the lad with straight back, clear eyes, and a real good smile. Billy's father strictly warned him to follow the instructions. Then Alf Agar emphasized to rehearse for the interview with the real smile. Billy found it difficult to smile spontaneously. He practiced different smiles over the weekend. When the day came, Billy set out to meet Mr. Bidwell. He longed for happy school days and felt afraid of the hard, uncertain future. In Midway, he stopped at a red brick building. He rehearsed himself, crying out loudly, "Good morning, sir. I have come to see about a job. Please don't shake your head, sir, for I will not take no for an answer." The gardener from the building misjudged him and offered the job. On realizing this, Billy ran towards the loco works. After getting inside the loco shed, Billy was conscious of the possible presence of Mr. Bidwell. So he walked with straight back with smile. He met Tom Petty, a oiler and greaser. Tom Petty brought him to Mr. Bidwell's room. Tom Petty whispered to introduce Mr. Bidwell. Billy saw that Mr. Bidwell had an enormous square jaw and narrow eyes and big black bushy eyebrows. In the first meeting, he forgot all things he has been learned with Alf Agar, but he was not frightened to face Mr. Bidwell. Mr. Bidwell roared, inquiring his presence. Billy hesitatingly mumbled. Even Mr. Bidwell could not get his words. He talked to Mr. Bidwell like his real act and behavior. Mr. Bidwell ignored him at the time. Billy gathered courage and talked back that shook him. Billy felt relieved, for spoken his hearty words. He joined Taylor and Brown's spinning mill and started job that very day. Next morning, Alf Agar came to his house and brought good news to him. Mr. Bidwell likes him because he was honest boy and he spoke the truth. Finally, he worked at locomotive shed with Mr. Bidwell. A story is well instructive that teaches us to be an honest person. Being an honest person is more important than everything else, like Mr. Bidwell said in story. So here we learn so many things about that boy, and through this story we can understand how the sayings of mother and father important one. Next thing, how we must be honest. Again, how we can follow the good things in our life. That is the real good smile. And most important words, that is Billy followed all the instructions of Alf Agar and his parents. So, though he left school, though he is not interested again in the job, he think about as a boy of 14 years, he think about why I left school and go into the mill for the work. So here we can learn how the nonverbal communication is important one, how we have to follow our parents' instructions, how it is helpful, and most important thing, a real good smile in our life. It will definitely a creation of success in our life. It will get successful. It will get successful to us in our life. So read the story particularly and try to follow the what is the moral things taught in that story. Till then, thank you. In next lecture, we will learn about the next part of our BA second module. Next module.